facility. So if you have a class that's interested in doing a tour of our treatment facility, you can contact us and we can set up a class. But mind you, there's a lot of construction going out there, so you can't come out there in sandals and open-toed shoe type things. Got to have on the boots and everything. It's located on North 30th Street, right before you get to Rogers Park Golf Course. Anybody been down in that area at all? Well, you should go for a tour.
Tour, you'll get to see it.
Ryan would be the one, what could be one of the ones that's directing our tour. You got anything?
Dr. Deborah Michael up there, a lot of the things he taught me in the classes here at Patel College are things I talk about in the tour. It's really applicable. We've always prided ourselves at the plant at, having the highest technology, most advanced water treatment. So that's why it's under constant construction right now. But yeah, sign up for a tour. Come on out. Get your group together. I'd love to show you around.
So on the campus, our water production campus, we're one of the few water departments that actually has a state certified lab on campus where we do a lot of the water quality testing. On a yearly basis, we run over 38,000 tests a year, and we're pulling more than 3,800 samples to make sure that your water is safe. If you're ever curious about Tampa's water quality, you can request a free water quality report, or better yet, you can go online and just click it and read it. It goes from 23, I'm not sure how far back it goes, at least 5 years. I've been there 4 years, so there's some years after that too. So these are some technicians that are out in the field that's collecting the samples. And of course, we have one of the scientists in the lab doing some jar tests on the water.
Yeah. Our overarching goal as an organization is to provide the same clean, high quality tap water, the highest quality we can provide. So we're really proud of the water we put out. That's why we're proud of our report. We'll mail you a copy if you want one. Like you said, you can also get the PDF online, check it out. But yeah, there's a lot of people, over 300 people working out there day and night, making sure that the plant's producing clean water and throughout the hundreds of miles of distribution system that we have. So
2,200 miles of distribution system that we have to maintain. We do have some water quality reports up here. If anybody wants to grab one tonight to just kind of review it, you're more than welcome to take one.
So yeah, why do we do this? Why are we talking about water conservation? There's a lot of reasons. First, there's the kind of legal reasons. We have to meet minimum flows and levels of the Hillsborough River. Remember that dam I talked about? We have to make room for nature. We have to have water flowing downstream for that. We can't take it all. We also have a water use permit of 82 million gallons per day on average. So we can go up a little, we can go down a little, but we need to stay on that level. And as our city's growing, we are pushing that demand limit. So water conservation is really important. Of course, there's the physical capacity of the plant, 120 million gallons a day. Now they are expanding that, but I mean, hate to run out of water. It's another reason. We're constantly growing. Our service area, when we wrote this statistic, had 733,000 residents or people that work, play, and visit Tampa on a year-round basis. So, Tony, you just updated the drought monitor. So we were struck by drought last year. We had a prolonged drought, and that really kicked us into overdrive as far as water conservation goes. We'll talk more about that later. And then you have the other reasons, saving money. Most of our customers contact us because they want to save money. They're not super motivated by these other things, but they do have a bill and they're trying to bring that bill down. Public health, making sure we have water supply that everybody can access. And of course, environmentalism. I'm an environmentalist. Tony, they're an environmentalist. We care about that thing, care about protecting the river and the bay and things like that. So these are some of our motivations. Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, if you notice on the map, you can see that here in Hillsborough County, we're still at a moderate drought. I just ran this map on the couple of days ago. So that information is pretty current, which is January 21st. And the other thing I want to say, of the 82,000 gallons per day, last year we were pretty close to hitting that limit. And we had to actually purchase water from Tampa Bay Water because we were just like, isn't that number? So we really need to start being mindful and thoughtful about how we're using water.
So on the use permit, 82 is an average or max. So what would I mean, during the dry season, how much does it fluctuate?
The water use during the dry season, it tends to go up, does fluctuate. I would say, can't think of the max right now, top of my head, but we have hit that average during the dry season because that's also the busy season here. A lot of people are snowbirds. They're coming down here now. This is the time where we're not getting a lot of rain. The river becomes more of a spring-fed system, changes the water quality and the chemistry, but it also changes how much we have. And I know like 20 to 24 cubic feet per second. I think during the dry season, that might be the lower end of that range for the minimum flow and level. Not my particular area of expertise right here, but it definitely does make an impact, and we do see it when we're looking at our numbers. So one of the things I like to do when I'm working is I'm a very analytical person. So I'm running a lot of graphs, doing data analysis on our customer data and billing data that we have. I like to kind of show people where is our water going. So this first pie chart, it's abbreviated, forgive me for that. 88% is residential, single family residential water use. So the vast number of accounts we have. Which makes sense when you think about it. There's a lot of houses in our distribution area. 10% is commercial. Apartments are 1%, and everybody else barely shows up. Now, this is where our water is going as far as actual water consumption, metered water consumption. So again, residential is taking the biggest chunk here, about 38% of it. Apartments, because a lot of people do live in apartments, it does make sense. That's 25% now. But it's only 2% of accounts because apartments house a lot of people, right? And then commercial is about 20% here. And then you've got hospitals, hotels, industry. This is about 4.6%. Offices use a little bit. And of course, mixed use, that can be different communities and shopping centers. But really, a lot of what we're targeting is this residential chunk. Our day-to-day work schedule. We're trying to reach regular people at home. Yeah.
This is representative of individual accounts. So when you're seeing 2% at apartments here, that could be, you know, say 2 apartment building owners, which each have.
Typically,
So would that be like
separate locations? They're going to be different accounts.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah. Okay.
like one owner can have different accounts. But yeah, well, I mean, think of what an apartment is. It's a lot of people living in one place, and so you don't need that many accounts. You have a lot of people, you use a lot of water.
So, and we don't just only focus on residential, we do work with businesses. We each have like key accounts that we have to maintain. One of Ryan's key accounts that we went out to a couple of months ago on Davis Island, you know, we were looking at their irrigation system. So we don't just focus on residential, we also do businesses, multifamily residence, apartment
That was
complexes.
Tampa General Hospital, again, that's 2.1%. Not a lot of hospitals here. Doesn't really make a statistic on this chart, but they do see a big chunk of water, and rightfully so. You know, you need to keep your hospital clean, keep people happy. Commercial, you know, you're thinking about what is a commercial business? A lot of them are restaurants,
Yeah, restaurants.
right? So they're cooking and cleaning all day long. So it makes sense for, 10% to use 20% of the water in that case. Residential, that's a spot where like, what are we doing with the water? As a home, right? So that's what a lot of what I do is dealing with homeowners and trying to get them to reduce their water use in that area. But yeah, we do also work with other industries and commercial. I know the airport's another key account. Tampa International Airport, they use a lot of reclaimed water for their irrigation. Good option.
Got a lot.
So I'm wondering, the difference between these two figures.
Okay.
And how we use them for the conservation measures.
Well, this is just trying to say, like, I think I made these graphics for specifically talking to other parts of the water department in the city. So we have different people. It's not just me and Tony. We've got the call center in particular. So this is a utility call center. These are people that are answering phone calls nonstop. And I'm trying to tell them, and a lot of the information in this presentation comes from that, when I'm training them, is that this is mostly who you're going to be talking to. And this is also people who are using the biggest fraction of water. So just knowing this kind of gives us an idea of where we need to pay attention. And those people are responsible for giving me the people to talk to. So knowing that kind of helps. Any other questions? Yeah.
What are like their common, like the most common questions they ask you and for like from the residentials?
What's a common question?
Well, why is my bill so high?
Yeah. That's the first.
The very first question, or something's got to be wrong with the meter. I can't be using this much water. And people really don't realize it just, even those small little drips in your house, all of that adds up, and they really don't realize it until we start getting into conversations. And that's how the conversations really start with the residents. When it hits them in the pocket, that's when they want to know, and then they want to conserve, because they want to reduce the water bill.
And I mean, we do have other programs, like we have a multifamily analysis program specifically geared towards hotels and apartment buildings. We're trying to get them to save water. With that, we're working a lot with our member government. Tampa Bay Water Wise, another conservation organization that we work with, and they provide customizable rebates for multifamily units to help retrofit and save water that way. So that 25%, I've got my eye on that too. But yeah, it's just important to know where your customer base is and where they're using water.
So this goes in a little bit more depth about our water use indoors. So the biggest one, water use in our house, is the toilets. Any of you guys ever hear your toilet running or making that sound in the middle of the night? Like, that's one of the common leaks, and that's one of the main driving forces that will increase your water bill too. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But the toilet is the number one user. And then, of course, the showers. If you love those 15, 20, 30-minute showers, that's going to add up. So that's really going to cost you as far as water is concerned. And then your faucets. Pay attention to the type of faucets you have installed in your bathroom. Are they water efficient faucets? Are you turning off the water when you're brushing your teeth? The typical faucet runs at about 2 gallons a minute. You stand to the sink for 2 minutes, that's 4 gallons of water gone down the drain in the blink of an eye. So just be mindful of all the things that are going on in your house. Clothes washers, you want energy efficient clothes washers. And you always want to take a look for leaks around your house too. That's another driving point of driving up our water bills.
So outdoor use, again, we try to divide when we look at the water use for residential or apartment or account into indoor and outdoor use. How are they using their water? So she just talked about the indoor uses. Outdoors, people love to clean their cars in Tampa. I've never seen so many clean cars in one place. Swimming pools, there's a lot of beautiful swimming pools. Pressure washing, I can attest, is the most satisfying way to clean anything. But the big one that I find is the big culprit is irrigation. Lawn irrigation, and we do have a serious issue with that in this community with the aesthetic we want to maintain of sprawling green lawns as our landscape. And that takes a huge chunk of that residential water use that I showed you earlier. And so, and that apartment water use and commercial water use of the hospital, they were calling us about, they use reclaimed actually at the Tampa General Hospital, but calling us on how to reduce their water use, we go straight to their irrigation systems.
So just a question. So in the previous slide, you showed that per person is 137 gallons per day. Yeah.
Oh, these are EPA statistics, so I can't
Tampa specific.
personally, but these are from, get the source here, it's the Oreo. Yeah. Well, which one are you asking about? 137 gallons?
137 per person. So that doesn't even include the outdoor, yeah?
No, this is indoors only.
Yeah.
Very reasonable when we get to the next slide. But you gotta meet people in conservation where they're at. So if they don't have massive outdoor use and they just want to lower the bill inside, then we talk to them about their indoor fixtures, their shower head, their toilet. Same thing goes with apartments. They have a lot of inside. So they've got a lot of toilets they could be replacing and saving water.
I have to say, the thing that shocked me on that one though, was 12% to leaks. The typical home, more than 10% of their water bill is pure waste. Like that's wild. That's what jumped out in red to me.
Yeah. Exactly.
I'd say it's more, but I guess I'm biased. Some people I talk to have bigger problems with leaks than that, but yeah, that's the one that I always question the most. So this one will really shock you. So this is provided by UF and we work a lot with them as far as landscape irrigation settings, recommendations, Florida-friendly landscaping. And this is just one thing they point out, just how much water does it take to irrigate a yard, right? 991 gallons
Average.
on average.
And that's just one irrigation event.
So that's 8.25 hours in a shower, right? With using a WaterSense certified shower head, so a good shower head. That's 774 toilet flushes. And these people are the average irrigator who aren't the ones that need our help that much. We really spend a lot of time with the outliers.
And there's a lot.
There's a lot of outliers. So again, I said I was kind of a data nerd, so I'm always cranking out what can I learn from billing data about our customers. So this is our single family residential accounts. The vast majority, this is, sorry, it's not really identified here. The green columns are the number of accounts that fall into this category of usage. 51%, majority, is using 22% of that water chunk I showed you in the pie chart earlier. They're pretty reasonable. We assume no irrigation here, low typical indoor use. It's pretty flexible, up to 5,000 gallons in a month. Now we have this next range. This is between 5,000 and 10,000. These people, I believe, are using water outdoors. They are probably irrigating if just seasonally as needed. But they're being fairly responsible with it. I think this might be what that picture on the last slide was talking about. They're using significant amount of water with irrigation, 33% for 31% of our accounts. Right. And this is the part of that water use, the blue column. Now this one here, these are the people I like to talk to. Me and Tonia are always going out looking for them.
We're trying to target.
It's a minority. It's 18% of the population of the accounts are using 45% of the water supply that's going to single family residential. So these people are chronic over irrigators for the most part. And that's who we are seeking in the community to talk to us.
So you're applying the 20/80 rule.
Yeah.
20 rule, yeah.
Yeah, why not?
If I don't, then that's good.
Oh.
He's lucky that he's at 2045. That's
Yeah.
So this is, working for the water department, you get to do a whole lot of fun things,
Yeah,
right?
not just statistics,
So it's not just,
stuff.
yeah, Ryan is definitely the number whisperer, but we get to make videos too.
Hi, everyone. I'm Juliana with Tampa Water Department. I am here to share with you how to save water outdoors. Nobody likes to pay for water that they don't use. Step 1, check your irrigation controller setting. Did you know that irrigation can account for up to 50% of water you don't use? Check your irrigation controller setting to make sure that you are watering on the right days of the week and during the approved hours. Here's a good tip. We often find that controllers have been set with multiple start times, and all you need is one start time to make all zones run in sequence. We want to check each program for those extra start times. You should also know that Tampa enforces year-round water restrictions, and fines can go up to $500. If you're using well water, these restrictions also apply to you. So you'll want to know when you're allowed to water your landscape. Tip 2, Make sure to change your irrigation settings depending on the time of the year. Tip 3, plant Florida-friendly landscaping. These plants use less water and thrive in Florida. Tip 4, water your landscape by hand. This will keep you from overwatering. Stick a fix-it flag where you see a leak. This way you can come back to repair them.
Tagging some leaks, huh?
Bonus tip, don't water your landscape in the rain. In Florida, rain sensors are required, so if you're a Tampa Water customer, you can get one of these for free. That's all. Remember, water is our most precious resource. Visit our website for more water-saving tips.
So yeah, we get to have a lot of fun. We do a lot of public outreach. Tony's does a huge part of that,
Yeah, I'm
making videos.
typically reach out to the youth. So I go into the schools and talk to the students K through 12. They sit there and they listen, and you'll be surprised how passionate the kids are becoming about water conservation and doing what they can to sustain the planet. So we're trying to get them early to buy into that and make that a habit that they can pass down to their family when they start having families, that everything would just be automatic, you know? And it's like I tell them, bug your parents if they're leaving the water running, tell them to turn it off. Just go, can you turn it off, please? And so the kids really are having a good time learning about water conservation.
Lost a connection. You just have to click maybe the. There we go. So, talking about outdoor water use, our biggest, most successful program is one-on-one irrigation evaluations. We go out to mostly homes, but also apartment buildings and businesses. And we deal with the customers. We talk to them about their water use. We do an analysis of it. Again, running charts, data nerd. And it's very successful. The typical residential customer is going to save 5,000 gallons per month once they've gone through this process, if they take our advice and do that. And that's a significant savings for them, for each residence. I think I added it up earlier today, 7 million gallons in the last fiscal year for us with this program alone. So it's incredibly successful. It's labor intensive. We have to go out and meet with people one-on-one. Again, it's an educational discussion. People are often in denial about how much water they're using to irrigate their lawns. They say it can possibly be. So I have to run math. We actually take a meter read before, we run a test, we read the meter after, and then we say, okay, I ran that thing for 12 minutes and it used this much water. We calculate that into gallons, and we get a gallon rate, usually between 10 and 20 gallons per minute. 12 on a nice average healthy system. And then I take them to their irrigation control box there. We'll have these little boxes on the side of the walls that they ignore. But those are programs to automatically run this irrigation system in their lawn. So we add up all the minutes on there and say, okay, now you're running this for 200 minutes and it's running at this flow rate. And that's when it starts to sink in. Oh, yeah, and then look at your bill. This is how much water is accounted for on the bill. So it is real. Not.
Meter's not broken.
Yeah, it's not broken. That's what we hear a lot of. We also check the rain sensor while we're out there doing that. We check for leaks, of course. A huge problem when I see people whose water use just spikes up, like a straight line going up. A lot of times that means there's a leak somewhere in the system. And so we do a 2-minute walkthrough test and look for those leaks and flag them, like you saw me throwing the flag in the picture in the video earlier. And then we also educate them on seasonal irrigation patterns. This is the image of a sticker I made for people to just put on their box, their control box, or in their garage when they come home. But we're trying to, based on UFIFIS research, convince people that they don't need to water their lawn the same throughout the year. There's a pattern to everything. Lawn and grass is an organism. It has metabolism. In the winter, it goes dormant naturally. It doesn't want to be watered all the time. It's naturally dry out right now. Whereas in the summer, it rains constantly and it's growing like crazy. And if anyone's up to mow their own lawn, you know, you're mowing it 3 times a week in the summer, but not at all right now. So teaching them that pattern really helps them reduce their bills a lot, but it also saves a lot of water.
And just getting them to understand their irrigation controller box too. These controller boxes, they weren't meant just for residential use. I mean, they were meant for like farms where you can set up different systems. These controller systems have like 4 different programs you can put in there, and people will say, no, I'm only watering once a week. But you got it on 4 different programs, and it's gonna run every time. Once one runs out, the next one is gonna start. So we do show them how to set their irrigation controller box, and then we tell them, don't touch it.
Tell them to touch it. Tell them to touch it.
Well, we want them to touch it. Seasonal irrigations, and it's like, this is the button, and I need you to push it this many times to get it to 60%, and after that, leave it for the fall or the winter. So we do want them to touch it and get familiar with it, but you would be surprised how many minutes people are watering their lawn, and a lot of them have it going early in the morning, so they don't realize how often their sprinkler systems are going. They just come out and they say, oh, the sidewalk's wet. They just get in the car and they go. They're not paying attention, but they are watering back to back to back. So just know, if you are an irrigator, know your irrigation controller. In the city of Tampa, know your watering day, like Ileana said in the video. Know your watering day, watering time. No watering on Saturday and Sundays. No watering between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. We do have patrollers. And I'm sure a lot of people think, oh, they don't patrol in the wee hours of the morning, but they do. So they just drive around the city of Tampa, and the first offense is $100. There are no warnings. We're not gonna come knock on, they're not gonna come knock on the door and say, you're not watering on the right day. You'll get the citation in the mail. So those are a lot of fun conversations.
This is a free program for residents of our city and our service area. Because the water service area does extend beyond the city in certain areas. And we'll come out and work one-on-one with the customer to help them reduce water use in this way.
And just to prep that, we do a lot of research on the property. We go to the property appraiser. We look at the lot size. We take out the square footage of the house and the sidewalk and all of that. We're just looking at watering what can be irrigated. So we do a lot of background and research on it before we go out there. And like Ryan said, everything is based on the IFAS research. So we're not just out there pulling numbers out of the sky and say, I think you only need to water your lawn 10 minutes. You know, there is some research behind it. Oh, just told you about this, right?
The program, we do have enforcement drivers, like she said. Does anybody live in Tampa? Or do you use water your lawn?
Ooh,
Are you watering on the right day? Let's see.
Fridays, just once a week.
Once a week? What's the last digit?
I
So everything is based on the last digit of your house address. And then from there, you pick the day that you should water.
Now, with that, 1 day a week. Previously, it was 2 days a week. But around this time, around October, November, I should say, last year, not last year, but the year before last year, 2023, we were in a drought. We were in a drought that whole year. It didn't rain the way it usually does in the summer. We didn't get the water that we need region-wide to keep up with the demand. Plus, we were hitting against that limit. He's talking about here's daily system demand, millions of gallons per day. So this is actually water demand in our water system from the plant. And we're comparing the previous year. It's a little confusing because it's 2022 and 23 here because we started in December for some reason. But we switched from 2 days a week to 1 day a week watering as part of a region-wide modified phase 1 watering restriction. This was put on by Southwest Florida Water Management District. They told us to do this. So we had to tell our customers, and we did a big outreach program to tell them and get them to know they needed to water 1 day a week. And when we did that, dark blue, that's 2 days a week. Light blue, that's 1 day a week. And this is water use at the plant. This is our total sum water use. And you can see it is significantly dropped. We did have one oddball month in May. We actually used a little bit more. And that's because that is the driest the dry season during our spring. And we chalked it up to obligate to seasonal irrigators, people that are really trying to maintain their stuff and had to irrigate because there's no water out there. That's the best explanation for why that is slightly higher. But overall, we saved about 7% or about 6 million gallons on average per day, just by switching from 2 days a week to 1 day a week. It was a huge success. We brought it to city council. We showed them this. We said, look how much water we're saving. They decided to adopt 1 day a week water savings citywide, year round.
Until further notice.
Until further notice, yeah. So it's kind of interesting to see you're out there just doing your job and you are able to change the law and make an impact on the actual water supply in ways that are very measurable. Yeah. Oh, completely different.
So we do have an area where homeowners can hook up to reclaimed water. That's our star area. It's outlined in the purple there.
Yeah.
So there are some benefits to using reclaimed water. First of all, of the cost. So if you're using the potable water to irrigate, that's $3.25.
Yeah,
Um,
well, we have a tiered billing structure, so it goes up to around $10 a unit.
Right, and the high irrigators are probably hitting that $10 water that Ryan was
In
talking
our
about.
tier 4.
In our tier 4. So we do have a tiered water structure. So with the reclaimed water, it's only $1.20 to use the reclaimed water. So we try to encourage people, if they live in that area, please hook up to reclaim. Okay, and then you don't, you're not restricted by the watering restrictions. With the reclaimed water, you just have a water party. When we don't want you to be wasteful with it, right? Because it's still a good resource for us to have, but you're not tied to the watering restrictions. And then it can also help you reduce your frequency of fertilization application because of the phosphate and nitrates that are in the reclaimed water.
Nitrogen and phosphorus, yeah.
There you go.
You have plans to extend claim?
Not officially that I know of. I would like to.
Yeah.
I would like to go right around here with it. This little cutout here, got a lot of customers that are like, come on, man.
Like they're right on the edge, just not quite.
Actually, we're working with some engineering students here at USF. And one of the projects is it's a capstone project, is to design a potential expansion of this project. Because it's been sitting there, it's been kind of what it is for, I don't know, since 2007, 2017, I don't know. It's been there and we might expand it, we might not, but there are people thinking about it at the very least. I can tell you that much.
Conversations are being had.
For me, when I look at it, I also run the numbers. Right now, only 60% of the accounts in that area that have access to it are connected. So I think we really try too hard to expand. We need to really get the people connected to the reclaimed water that have the ability to do so and use it. And some of those people are high irrigators. So there are people that I'm going to be reaching out to, identify, their account information, and we can say, hey, did you know you can have this resource? Because I don't think people have heard about it in a long time. Yeah.
That was gonna be my question. What are the reasons given for not wanting to hook up to reclaimed?
Well, some people, obviously, for non-potable use only. So people don't want to just fill their swimming pools or do things like that. I've met some people who are afraid that it's going to hurt their plants. We do have FFL guidelines for, plants that do better with the salt content in the reclaimed water that we can point people towards. Most people don't have plants of that caliber. I think they're overestimating their gardening. I have met some people that have like very nice garden plants. And for them, I've advised them, you could still water your St. Augustine grass with the reclaim and then have a separate meter or hand water your beautiful roses. So, but that's one of the reasons. The other one, I think people just don't know. A lot of people I'm talking to, they're new to the area. We've had a lot of growth over the last couple of years. Since that picture was taken in the beginning, this town has blossomed.
Are there concerns for watering edibles, vegetable gardens, fruit trees, berry bushes?
Most people that I talked to aren't too worried about that. I know that I've looked up in
Not
the
a concern.
past. I was interested in that when I worked, my classes here, I was looking into that, and there are guidelines, like, if you gotta wash it, right? You want to, maybe if it's applied to the roots and you're eating the fruit of a tomato tree, it's not gonna be that big a deal. So if you're using like drip irrigation versus like spraying it, that could be helpful. But some people might be concerned with other contaminants that could be in the reclaimed water. They're coming out of the wastewater treatment system. And for them, I'd say it's a small minority of people that I've actually talked to in this area that grow their own vegetables and things. It's more either they don't know that they could have it, or they don't know how easy it is to get it, that it'll pay for itself. So I'm doing some cost benefit analysis on this for customers. Now I'm saying, hey, you could change to this and save this much on your water bill just by using the same amount of water. You're going from your tiered rate structure here of tier 4, $10 or more unit to $1.20 a unit. You change nothing else, you could pay for this in a couple of months. But yeah, what are the reasons have you heard?
That's really it. Just a lot of people are concerned about maybe it hurting their flowers, their garden.
But there's been a lot of redevelopment in Tampa and a lot of new development. And every one of these buildings comes with an automatic irrigation system. A lot of people really aren't prepared. They don't know. They never thought about it. And so we're reaching out to these new homeowners, first-time homeowners, and kind of helping them figure out their options for saving water.
We're finding when the construction crew goes in and they lay the sod and they set the irrigation up and they want the nice pretty green grass. So you'll say, oh, I want to buy that house, right? And they'll just leave the settings and the homeowners don't even realize, how much they're watering. And then they'll get their first bill and they're like, oh, what's going on? And that's what we're kind of finding, that the builders are setting that stuff. It's kind of like a set it and forget it. And, after a couple of cycles, and some people may think a $300 water bill is normal until they talk to a neighbor and they say, what? Mine isn't that high. And then that's how our conversations start with that too. Oh, here's Ryan starring in a video. We love our videos.
I'm Ryan, save water. I'm here with Spy. Yeah, to save water. That's how I do that. Tip number 1, turn off the water. Tip number 2, add some high efficiency aerators to your pockets. Tip number 3, stop washing your dishes by hand. Don't you know a fully loaded dishwasher saves water? Hey, what? 4, install a high efficiency shower. Tip number 5, check for leaks. Check your faucet for drips. Look under the sink and the toilet. City of Tampa customers get a free indoor water retrofit kit. Means all the water saving devices shown in this video. Go to our website, tampa.gov/savewater to find out more. Well, my acting career never took off actively. But
So these are some of the devices that we send out to our customers for free. All you have to do is just go on our website and request them. So we have the shower head. I don't like that white one so much, so we've got some pretty silver ones now. They kind of match the showers a little bit better. We have the leak detection tablets. Have any of you ever tested your toilet for a leak at all? So that's
now's the
something.
time.
Now's the time. We've
Lots
got
here for you. Everybody, you can come here, buffet style, if you'd like.
what you want.
We've got the dye tablets here.
So we're gonna talk about testing your toilet a little bit later. So what we find is leaking the most is the flapper here, the thing that sits in the tank of the toilet that seals that water in. And we actually have some flappers up here. So we do provide those for free. But I tell a lot of my customers, if you find out you have a leak, don't wait and request a flapper for us to get in the mail, to get to your house. You would save money just by going to the hardware store and buying the flapper there, because all that water is just gonna go down and your water bill is gonna be higher. So just buy the flapper. I wouldn't wait.
Fit most especially older toilets, but not all of them out there. There's different valves and things, so it helps to bring the one from your
Mhm.
toilet at home to the store so you can match it. But you can have one of these here today.
Yep. We give out, for outside with the hose nozzle. So we definitely talk to homeowners, make sure just put a nozzle on it. Put a nozzle on it, right?
But that picture, don't do the thing with your thumb.
Not with the thumb, right?
That wastes so much water. Please just take one.
Take a nozzle,
Good.
please. And we do have the aerators for your bathroom and your kitchen sink. So our kitchen sink aerator flows at 1.5 gallons per minute. And our bathroom aerators flow at 1 gallon per minute. So that can reduce your water use. But the best thing to do is just turn the water off. Just don't stand there and let it run. We got our water quality report that we have here.
This is, yeah, well, this is
This-
rebates. So
these
we
are
also have a rebate program working with Tampa Bay Waterwise. We're a member government along with several other local governments of this conservation group. And we promote their rebates. So you can get up to $100 for a new high efficiency toilet for replacing an older toilet. Now, if it's not old enough for that one, you can still get a $40 rebate. And you'll see this at the big box stores. If you ever wander down the toilet aisle, you'll see it advertised on there. So it's a good incentive to maybe redo your bathroom, get a more efficient toilet. Smart irrigation controllers. These are the newest irrigation control box. So we're used to ones that are very, you gotta program everything, kind of like, does anybody remember programming a VCR? Anybody here?
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like doing that. Whereas this will go on your phone with an app. It's very elegant, very intuitive. It can let you control your irrigation from the other side of the planet if you wanted to. It does require a Wi-Fi connection or internet connection, and it will go online and look at the weather information and decide whether it needs to rain or not. And it will decide how hot it is. What is the evapotranspiration rate of the soil at your home? It needs to be installed properly and set up by a professional for best results. So you can get $250 rebate for the device and for installation of that at your home.
So yeah, just you would go to Tampa Bay Water Wise to make sure you qualify for that rebate because the smart irrigation controller are usually for high irrigator
Mhm.
users. So you want to go and see whether or not you qualify for that. And for the toilet also, you can put your address in and it'll tell you, you know, depending on when the house was built, what kind of toilet was installed and whether or not you qualify. But if you don't qualify, like Ryan said, you could get a $40 rebate, which isn't bad.
You can also get a well.
Shallow well.
Yeah,
So for the controller, irrigation controllers, are you saying the device and installation is free or?
up to $250, yes. If you use enough water to get on this list, that's the key. So they won't. It's for the higher water users because if you're not using a lot, it will actually increase your water use, we found.
Oh.
The computer will decide to use more water. So when we do our irrigation evaluations, we're much more conservative. Well, I mean, we're water conservation, that's kind of our job title, so then this device is. But if you qualify for it, yeah, it'll be pretty much free with installation. And this is also a good program for, remember I talked about that multifamily rebate? That's what this is. They do a customizable one. They'll give out 800 toilets to an apartment building and do them all at once, shower heads, set up the irrigation system to run automatically, probably put in a well too, so they don't have to use potable supply. So if you live in an apartment and you want to make a change in your community, you can maybe inform the management or owners about this program. But that's one of the tools we have for going after that 25% of that pie that I showed you earlier. Any other questions on the rebates? All right.
So this, Ryan is our fellow number cruncher, the number whisperer, and also an artist. So this is his drawing here. Don't let your toilet be your nightmare, right? So that's the one thing that can really drive up your water bill, like I told you before. So just a quick way to test your toilet for leak. When you come up here and you're gonna take some of these home and you're just gonna take the dye tabs, drop them in the tank of your toilet. You're not gonna flush, you're gonna wait about 15 minutes, go do something else. If you come back and there's any blue in the bowl of your toilet, the slightest color, even if it's like, just a little bit, it's a little bit blue, you have a leak. And so you probably need to replace that flapper in there. So that is a driving cost of a very high water bill. If if somebody was asking you about, hey, how do you test your toilet? You can tell them you could use food coloring. You can put 10 or 12 drops in the tank, same thing, wait 15 minutes, don't flush. You don't have to wait on the dye tabs to do that. Okay.
But if you want them, you can email Ryan and Tonia.
There you go.
We'll send them to you. But this is our call to action for you all today. We would ask you, if you can do nothing else, if you don't irrigate or anything, please just take some of these, go home, check your toilet for leaks. You might be surprised. Not all of these make a sound like a running toilet where you jiggle the handle. We used to have that when I was a kid. Get in there and jiggle the handle. If it's doing that, it's already a well gone leak. Your bill's gonna be high. So please take some, go test your toilet. If you do nothing else today, go do that.
So for example, I was out on an irrigation evaluation and I always take dye tabs. And while I'm walking around in the yard looking at their system, give them dye tabs, go in and test your toilet. And lady told me, oh, I don't have any leaks. This is a new bill. I don't have any leaks. I'm like, just test it anyway, just for grins and giggles. She came out and she says, I have a leak. There you go. So.
This is So number one thing people complain about when they don't use water outdoors, they use irrigation, but they still have a high bill, is that, the toilet leaking. There are other things, other leaks that we can talk about, but that's most of the time. This is the flapper we're talking about. We have some of those boxes there, the official City of Tampa souvenir flapper.
There you go.
It's like that. It's the moving part. It's a soft piece of material that is the moving piece in the toilet that lets it flush. So it is prone to failure over time. And even with newer toilets, especially with guest bathrooms, you don't use them all year. The holidays come around, somebody comes in there, they use your guest bathroom toilet. It's been sitting and it's become kind of like sealed and seated on to the connection there. And then it gets broken loose and now it has a leak. So even with new houses, please just run the test.
Toilet.
Simple.
Please. So these are some pictures from our outreach that we do with the youth. Up in the corner, we actually did we were at, I forget, was it Forest Hills? No, it wasn't Forest Hills. I don't remember the name of the park.
It wasn't in that park.
But we did a water quality testing with the kids. They were pretty excited. They had their little test tubes and they love making things change colors. So that was pretty, what was it?
River Hills.
River Hills, there it is. So that's one of the outreach things here. We were at a Mosey event. I think it was Water Days. Water Days should be coming up again in March.
It's there. It's gonna be.
What's the date for Water Days?
I don't know.
Google Mosey.
In the
Water
spring.
Days. It'll give you the day. It's a Friday and a Saturday.
Oh my God.
Fridays for schools and then Saturday is for families. This is a river cleanup with Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful that Ryan organized. This is a STEM fair. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. And we get to be art critics too. We have a Drop Saver poster contest that I'm going to tell you guys a little bit more about. So we kind of judge the kids' artwork and we pick a winner with that. And this is from the Great American Teach-In. We've been really getting out into the schools and talking to the kids about water. So our Drinking Water Award is every year, and it's through the Hillsborough County STEM Fair. So if you have kids in K through 12, encourage them to apply to do a project related to drinking water. So we do have a Drinking Water Award. There are prizes for the elementary level. It's a $100 gift card. Junior level is $150. The senior level is $175. They get a meet and greet with the mayor, and shake hands and get a plaque, the whole 9 yards. So that's a pretty good project if you have a high school student, elementary through high school students, if they want to do something water related. Our Drop Savers poster contest is every year. We co-sponsor that with Hillsborough County Water Resources. And this is one of the winning posters. This was from a third grader that did this. And so we take their artwork, we imprint it on a reusable water bottle. They're allowed to share with their classmates. they get all kind of swag from the state from that also. So if you have kids in school, please encourage them to hop on to Drop Savers. The contest is still open for Drop Savers. The close date is February 15th, so they've got time. If it's STEM, kind of late for that. Our judging is in February, so the beginning of the school year would be the best time, or even during the summer for them to start planning their project for the STEM fair. Our customer assistance program. This was started for our low-income residents through to help them pay their water bill. So ORS flipped down. So Ryan and I's job was actually based on because of the PIPES program and the money that's being generated for that. And we were initially hired to work with residents on the customer assistance program, but then COVID happened, right? So then we just kind of had to pivot everything and we found a new lane, but CAP is still going on. So if someone can't afford their water bill, please tell them just don't ignore it. We do offer like payment, a payment plan if they can't afford to pay their water bill. So if you know anybody that's dealing with that, please tell them to apply for CAP because every year our water cost is going up. The base charge is going to increase every year. So it's going to eventually add up. Right now, the base charges for the water and wastewater, I believe it's $7 for base charge for water, $7 base charge for the wastewater, but those fees are going up every year.
Thank you. Hey, that
That
didn't.
went crazy, right?
I'm Ryan,
Yeah.
my name, and that's Tony.
There you go. And we do have a newsletter. We would love for you guys to all subscribe to our newsletter. It's called Save the Drop. We put some pretty cool information in there. And if you ever have any water conservation questions, just email us at tampa.gov/savewater, or I'll give you one of my cards and you can email us with any questions. If you want us to come out and talk to an HOA, a school, a church group, if there's people and there's water, we'll be there. So,
Want to get a tour of the plant? Yeah. Documents there. Play around. Any questions?
and please come up and get some dye tabs. And we actually got some career books. You know, we're always hiring. Working for the city of Tampa is a pretty good gig. Can't complain. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Put down.
We got thin here.
Yes.
That's
We're using well water.
so if you need to take that.
You need to follow the schedule. If you're in our service area, you're still restricted to 1 day a week.
Have some air.
Well water or surface water, if you have a pond, you're drawing from for irrigation.
You can take 2-pack.
The only real exception is people with reclaimed water.
That's bathroom aerators, those are kitchen aerators. You actually have like some plumbing tape if you find out you need to seal those threads.
You.
Yeah.
If you're coming out, great.